What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I will be reviewing a beer from R.Shea Brewing, and they're out of Akron, Ohio, and this is their 2021 a Candy Cane Milk Stout. So they are calling this one a Candy Cane Oreo Pie Pastry Milk Stout. It comes in at 8% alcohol by volume, 28 IBUs at the time of review. This can is just under 2 months old. I'm going to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and fellow BeerTuber, Jay, over at This Guy's Thoughts. So huge thanks to him for this one. In the description box, I'll post a link to not only Jay's channel, but the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies he hooked me up with. And Jay's a great guy. Go check out his channel. He does beer reviews, soft drink reviews, energy drink reviews, spirits, alcoholic eggnog. He posts old beer commercials. He just does a whole lot of different stuff, and he does it very well. And he's a great guy. Hooked me up with some awesome beer, and this one just sounds, to me, like it's either going to be delicious or absolutely horrible. So I've had a handful of like chocolate chip mint beers or mint in beer, and this one is a Candy Cane Milk Stout. So the base of this one is a milk stout. So it's basically an imperial milk stout brewed with lactose, obviously. And then I think they're using candy canes. Maybe they're just using peppermint. Maybe they're just using mint in general. And then I'd assume they're brewing this one with Oreos. But here's the thing. I could not find much about this beer. The only thing I found out was the IBUs, which were 28. It was listed on their website, but there's no ingredients, nothing going on. So I'm going to assume there's candy canes, there's some kind of mint in here, there's Oreos in here, there's lactose. And it's an imperial milk stout at 8% and 28 IBUs. That's all I know. We're going to crack it open and get it into the glass. This glass was also sent to me by Jay, so thank you, Jay, for this glass. I figured I'd use it for the reviews, especially of the darker beer. So that's pouring out like a dark brown. Yeah, more of a dark brown. So the head's fizzing away real quick. So we'll see if I enjoy this one. I don't know. I feel like I might. Now, much like the Christmas stout that I did from the Dayton Beer Company, this has cola vibes to it. Like the bottom, this looks like a glass of cola, more specifically Coca-Cola. It has that, mahogany, ruby red kind of tinge here. It's more of a dark brown. On camera, it's gonna look pitch black, and the head is like a straight up light brown color. That looks like Coke to me in a glass, honestly. Let's get a nose on it. Yeah, oh, that, what? What the So Oreo has so many different varieties nowadays. I don't know if they've done a peppermint Oreo. I'd imagine they have. They've done like somewhere around, which is just an estimate, made up number, somewhere around like 697 different varieties of Oreo at this point. This smells like if they have some kind of peppermint or mint Oreo, which again, I'd imagine they have done for the holiday seasons. That's what it smells like, or what I would think it smells like. I'm getting like an Oreo cookie vibe. So basically picture Oreo cookies, but with the addition of a peppermint. So there's chocolate, there's peppermint, there's like a sweeter vanilla. There's a slight roasted malt character here too, maybe a touch of coffee from the base milk stout. It's weird because what happens is the first blast to my nose, into my nostrils, is peppermint. And then right after that comes the Oreo cookie. So it's like, here's a blast of mint, but then here's a sweet cookie. And it's kind of, my mind is playing tricks on me. Now, I love like Junior Mints or Andes or beers like that. So that's giving me kind of those vibes in beer form. And it doesn't smell bad. It's just weird how it's presenting itself in the aroma. Like, again, the peppermint and then the cookie. It's not more of like a cohesive intertwined type of note. It's definitely disjointed to some degree. It smells fine. It just, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to be on the palate. Anyway, not much more to say about it. Roasted malt, a little bit of coffee, vanilla, chocolate, peppermint, some kind of Oreo cookie, kind of disjointed, doesn't smell bad, kind of scares me. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody, and thanks again, Jay. That is so fucking weird to my palate. Wow. That's got to be the mint. Like the finish has to be the mint. So buying this at 8% is definitely thin to me. This is like lower side of medium at best. It's thin. I was expecting something a little bit more robust and viscous in the, on the palate. This is like lower side of medium. The mouthfeel, too, is a little bit more carbonated than I would like to. There's quite a bit of carbonation. So for me, I want this a little bit thicker, and then on top of that, a little less carbonation, a little bit smoother and creamier on the palate because you're going for a candy cane, Oreo pie pastry milk stout. It is sweet, though. After each sip, there's a sweetness building up on my palate, especially like on the sides of the tongue, and the front of the palate's really sweet. So we'll try to dissect this. This is one of the strangest beers that I've had in a while, and I'm still struggling with whether or not I enjoy it. So right at the front up, tons of sweeter milk and dark chocolate, a lot of like, just like almost a molasses, a lot of sweet malt sensation at the front. Right after that, roasted malt hits, but it's not real big. Roasted malt and slightly like a bittering type of coffee, but that comes and goes pretty quickly. Middle of the palate is where I get like a very slight Oreo like cookie type of twinge to this one. But then right after that, the peppermint hits me. And it's a pretty decent sized blast of peppermint. It's not overwhelming, but like it's noticeable. And then that carries on to the back of the palate. And here's why I said it was strange, and why I thought the finish on this one had to be the peppermint. The last like quarter, maybe a third of the palate, this dries out substantially, but it almost gives me kind of like a popsicle stick or like an oak tannin, real strong oak tannin dryness. It has to be from the mint. Like that's what I'm thinking anyway. I don't think this beer, the dryness would just be from the beer itself. Like something has to be doing that or perceiving that dryness on my palate. I will say this hides the alcohol extremely well. 8%. I can't, like, if I was doing this blind because of the thin body and the mouthfeel itself, I would guess like 6.5%. So that's one positive of this one. It really hides the alcohol well. It's weird because this is a pastry milk stout. They're saying it is, and I get a big blast of sweetness. But on the back of the palate, that substantial dryness from what I think is the peppermint, it's like full on dry. There's not much bitterness in this at all. Maybe like a little bit. Like I said, roasted malt, bitter, and coffee kind of lingers a little bit, but this is more of like a dry beer as opposed to a bitter beer to combat the sweetness. But even though it's substantially dry, I don't think it's doing enough to like tone down the sweetness. I mean, this is not cloying to me, but I prefer this in like a 12-ounce can at most. Listen, I gotta be honest. Jay would want me to be honest. Everyone wants me to be honest when I'm doing a review because hopefully you watch my reviews and you're hoping that I'm honest. And I try to be in every single review as honest as I possibly can be. Do I hate this beer? No. Do I love this beer? Definitely not. Did I think this was going to be strange to my palate? 100%. To me, I just think the body is lacking. The body and mouthfeel are lacking. For something that's 8%, I want it to be a little bit more smooth and creamy. I want it to have a little bit more viscosity to it. And then on top of that, I knew going into this one, the peppermint or the candy cane or whatever is going to kind of mess with the palate and kind of maybe the balance of this beer. But I didn't think it was going to do it in the way that it is because I feel like a lot of sweetness up front, but then you get that peppermint dryness. You would think it balances it out. And I don't think peppermint dryness balances out that sweetness. I think it just kind of adds like a distraction to the palate. It's not bad. It's not a drain pour by any stretch of imagination. Now you see me taking sips. It's not like I'm gagging or it's bad. It's not bad at all. It's just not a beer that is all that great. I don't mind the flavors. It's just, if this was a local brewery to me, and they release this one every single year, I don't think I'd pick this specific one up. I think they do different versions. I remember a beer day with TK. Shout out to him. Great guy. Great channel. Fellow BeerTuber. I think he said they have released this before, but they haven't released the Oreo pie version. It was just like a regular Candy Cane Milk Stout. I would like to try that to see how it is. Because I'm not getting a lot of Oreo in here. I just get a substantial malt sweetness at the beginning, and I think that peppermint's kind of like a astringent kind of distraction. So not a bad beer, just not something that I'd ever seek out again. So got to be honest in my rating, and 2021 a Candy Cane Milk Stout from R.Shea Brewing. Best, the absolute best I could do on this. It might be a stretch, but I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Like, that's the best I can do on this one. This is, you know what, it's probably, it depends, I don't know. I'd probably give it a 3.5 on Untappd, but this might be like a low 3.5, like a 3.4 or something. But definitely not, just not for me. I'm happy I got a chance to try it. Like I said, I hope, Jay, you're not mad or anything. I got to be honest. And yeah, you're not going to like all beers you try. And this one, for me, just really didn't do it. It's a fun beer, though. It's a definitely fun beer to try and review. Price and availability, I have no idea. This is where Jay comes in. I would hope that this beer specifically is like not more than like $5 a can, like $20 4-pack, because it is 8%. They're probably using Oreos, they're using candy canes. It's an Imperial Milk Stout. If you're paying $4 to $5, it's not a bad price, but if it's like $6-7 a can, I don't think that's great value. And availability, I have no idea. I'd assume R.Shea probably gets distro throughout Ohio. Never seen them here in the Western New York area, but yeah, it happens. Just not for me. Now, here's the thing. If you've had this beer before, or a variation of it, or like a prior release, let me know what you think about it. I have not watched Jay's review yet, specifically because I didn't want to be influenced by what he said, so I'm curious to see what he thinks about this one. For me, it's just like, it's not too sweet where I think I'd be able to drink the rest of that can. I just don't know if I want to, type of thing, right? So I'm going to have to check out Jay's review. And like I said, go check out Jay. Great guy, very generous individual. He sent out a bunch of holiday beer mails, and I've seen a lot of fellow BeerTubers get their hands on some stuff, and I have to watch some of their reviews. And yeah, not much more to say about it. Like I said before, earlier in the review, the best thing about this beer, 8%, it's well hidden. So yeah, I'm starting to feel a little bit now, but like on the palate and in the chest and stuff, nah, not at all. So thanks again to Jay for hooking me up with this one. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.